Here.
Hi Hannah.
Hello.
So we're here in Sydney.
Yes, we are.
What's it like being vegan in Sydney?
It's pretty good. Like, there's a pretty big vegan community, and there's a pretty big online vegan community. So there's always places you can go and meet people. Every Friday night, there's an event on at a new vegan or new or favourite vegan restaurant where you can meet new vegans. And I definitely took advantage of that for the first few months of being vegan, because otherwise, in my area anyway, it's quite conservative. It can be quite lonely. But then once I found my place, it's been good. There's a lot of food. There's food everywhere. But Newtown's like the vegan hub.
Like, what's the favourite place to go in Sydney?
My favourite food place would be Bodhi. It's like a vegan yum cha restaurant. And I'm like obsessed with like the little steamed buns. You ever had a steamed bun? It's like this little bread thing, but it's steamed bread, kind of like a dumpling. It's amazing.
Do you think it's important to like find a social group to support you in the beginning?
I think it's really important to. I don't think you need a whole group. I think that maybe sometimes if you have a whole vegan group and you just surround yourself with vegans, you can almost get close-minded to other people, and then that can be a barrier to meeting people outside of what your beliefs are, and because you need to be challenged, I think. But I definitely think having some vegan friends is a really good thing, like either online or ones that you can definitely meet in person is a good thing, because it just means that you don't feel alone, and you don't feel like an outcast or a weirdo.
So you're a student?
Yeah.
So is it easy to budget your money and find vegan food?
Well, I'm a pretty big bum. I either sleep on my mum's couch or at my boyfriend's house, and like I'll try and like skip out just before his roommates like ask if I should pay rent, because I don't want to work and serve meat, and like hospitality is pretty much the only job around. So I teach gymnastics and like don't really make that much money, but vegan food's pretty easy to find. But that's probably where I spend most of my money is food. That's probably because I really like food. But otherwise, it's like you can get like sushi for like $3, which is really cheap.
Yeah.
Just down there near my uni, there's like you can get lunch for $5, which is like a big vegan curry. So it's pretty easy. And then breakfast, oats, bananas, the usual. Pretty cheap and easy.
That is really cheap.
Yeah.
That's like $2.50.
The vegan
That's
food here is
crazy.
so much cheaper than London. It's like insane. Like London's like crazy.
They're trying to be like upmarket though, right? So
No, but like I feel like
that's probably why.
there was one sushi place in all of London, and I think we spent £30, and I had like 3 plates.
Gosh.
If you spent $60 at a sushi train in Australia, you'd have like plates up to like here.
What are you studying?
I'm just finishing up a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology and International Relations with like a social justice focus. But because maybe I'm too scared to like go out and get a real job, I might do an honours project if I get in. And it's kind of inspired by Cowspiracy. So it'll be a research project looking at the ag-gag laws in America and the biosecurity laws in Australia, and how like because of the capitalist societies we live in, how that sort of is a mechanism to silence the environmental impacts of animal agriculture, because they're areas that aren't discussed by our governments. In fact, like they're enforced as like good things for the environment, because it's good for the economy, so therefore it's good for everything else. Because we're obsessed with growth. So looking at things like sustainability is not something that our governments do. So I want to do a project that would look at how language in like the political sphere silences the impacts of animal agriculture.
Like, what can individuals do to like kind of challenge the silencing what's going on at the moment?
I think knowledge is really power. So I think that if you have access to knowledge, like even just showing someone something like Cowspiracy, or providing them with like a link to the UN documents on it all, and showing them that this isn't something that like it's not like a vegan conspiracy, like it's a thing, it's a real issue of the 21st century that we need to tackle. Like animal agriculture, if we're not careful, will be the end of us. So I think like just showing people that it's not just a vegan conspiracy, and that this is real information.
A a lot is being invested in like vegan businesses now. Do you think buying vegan is like ethical and like good enough for the planet?
I think that it's a huge step in the right direction. Like, I think that conscious capitalism is better than normal capitalism. So voting with your dollar right now is a really powerful statement, I believe, because we're still in the system. So you're being more conscious and more aware, but you're still being a consumer, and our planet right now is like, we're taking resources left, right, and center, and it's not a sustainable future. So I think that, like, while it's something that we have to do to make our voices heard, right now it's not something that we can do forever. So I think that we have to be critiquing ourselves as we do it, but at the same time also not be a purist. So don't like hate yourself if the chocolate you bought wasn't ethical by accident, or you couldn't maybe afford to go and buy the really expensive like vegan handbag because you have like a nice old one sitting at home. Like, it's not about, it's about upcycling, it's about recycling. Buy secondhand wherever you can, buy ethical and fair trade whenever you can, but also, don't be too hard on yourself if in that moment you need that $5 singlet because you've got nothing to wear. So I think it's just constantly being conscious of your own decisions and not trying to be a purist, but also critiquing yourself and knowing when you can do better, do better.
What's the animal rights movement like here?
It's pretty good. It's a pretty big movement. Again, with the online communities, it makes it really easy and accessible. I went to a vegan festival and there was a lady at the front handing out flyers, and it was for this thing called the Animal Justice Party. And so I went home and I looked it up, and I needed an internship for uni, and I had no idea where to turn because some of the NGOs around here, I don't know, I feel like it's a bit dodgy, a bit volunteerism. So I looked them up, and it's a political party which like worked well for my degree. And so I got in contact with them, and so it's like combines animal rights and politics. And I ended up helping with the end of the campaign, and we now have a member called Mike Pearson in the upper house.
Wow.
In New South Wales, so it's pretty powerful. I think the only other place they have it in the world is, where is it? Maybe I'm going to get this wrong, but I'm going to say Denmark. But I'm probably really wrong. But so it's pretty powerful. It shows that like there are people that care about animal rights, and that we don't all just care about that extra dollar in our bank account. Like some people, like it's a conscious movement waking up. So from that perspective, like animal rights within the system. I haven't been to that many protests, but there's definitely an active response to the live export industry we have in Australia, and there's a lot of people coming out against that, and so there's a good activism movement. It's right here.
So do you think like people are waking up, like the time is now, like are more vegans
I'm gonna
being
say
created?
yes. I think that we have to say yes, but definitely I think so. Like I think it's definitely becoming more mainstream. There's vegan food everywhere now, and I think the planet's where we are, we're on a precipice, so I think that like we have no choice but to wake up. And I think with things like Cowspiracy coming onto Netflix, people are seeing the impacts of their choices and that things are changing.
A little bit. Why did you become vegan?
Kind of a culmination of reasons. I was brought up vegetarian and pescatarian, you know that story. And then I had watched a clip shared on Facebook called Farm to Fridge. It's kind of has a sort of same vibe as Earthlings. Please don't judge me. I didn't go vegan overnight after that, unfortunately. But it was in the back of my mind, and I was thinking about it, and I felt guilty when I consumed animal products after that. And then I watched a documentary called Forks Over Knives at a time when I was feeling pretty low in my life. And I've had a myriad of health issues, and so has my family. And so watching that showed me that there was a way to sort of be liberated from all of that. And I realized that why would I not be vegan when it's good for me and it's good for the animals? And then later on finding out that it's good for the planet, like it's kind of like, it's just illogical not to. And I'm kind of like a person, like if it ticks the 3 boxes, then you do it.
Yeah.
And veganism definitely does that.
What are the 3 boxes?
3 boxes, it's good for me, it's good for the environment, it's good for the animals. So in that case, it ticks those 3 boxes. But like in other things, like I don't really drive anymore because like there's public transport where I live everywhere. I can ride my bike, which is really good for me, and it's really cheap. So there you go.
So cute. Do you have any advice for people that want to go vegan?
My advice for people who want to go vegan is that knowledge is power. You need to arm yourself with that information because your family's it's gonna come from a place of love, but they're going to want to know why. Like it's gonna almost feel like an attack, so you have to know why. So documentaries like Forks Over Knives, Earthlings, Cowspiracy, Gary Yourofsky's Greatest Speech Ever, 101 Reasons to Go Vegan. Just inform yourself and then read books like The China Study. Just whatever knowledge you can get your hands on, get into it because that's going to be your best defense and your best reason. Because you're going to need reasons to stay vegan. And I think that the more you have, the easier it's going to be to stay vegan.
Thank you, Hannah. Okay, that's been in the video.